Hello, everyone. This is Sophia. I'm going to be doing a series on worship. What is worship? Is worship just a song? Is it about singing? What really is worship? This is stirring from a kind of burden. Um, I noticed that a lot of persons don't understand what worship really means, even the term worship itself. So you see someone saying, I want to do worship, praise and worship. I'm doing praise, I'm doing worship. So they are referring to worship as slow song and then praise as the faster song. And this has been a trend for a long time. And in as much as some persons would know what the difference is, and some persons just decide not to understand that these terms, it's important that you use the right term. So the difference between praise and worship, it's not in how fast or how slow the song is. So this is going to be a series, but I'll just drop it bit by bit. And then another challenge I noticed, which has pushed me or stirred me to do this video, is our choice of songs when we come before the Lord and His people to worship. And many times there's a lot of mix up. There's a lot of mix up. We are in a time where, um, you know, a lot of choristers want to do trending song as part of their worship lines. A lot of singers out there just want to do what is trending, and even if it's not aligning with what the term worship means, we just do it. Sha, now it's the trend. We just did one. But it's a burden in my heart. That's why I'm going to be doing this series. Today, I'm just going to drop what it means to worship, what worship truly means. I believe it's going to help every chorister, everyone in the music department, at whatever level you are at. I know that this is going to help you, and as much as it has helped me. Many years ago, when I was still a teenager, back then, years ago, I was still a teenager, my pastor called me one time and he told me to write a list of I think about 50 songs, I can't remember. And he was specific. He said these 50 songs should only be worship songs. It shouldn't be anything other than worship. So I had to go back. I was really young, so I did my research and I did that list. And I was checking the songs. I was checking that and making sure that I was not adding songs like My Helper, something that made me run into as part of my worship list. I'm going to do a long list in another video and help you so you can place the right songs where you should place them. But today we won't be talking really about the songs. We want to talk about worship. What is worship? What is worship? Worship is, it's more than singing. According to scriptures, worship is more than singing. The first place worship was mentioned in the Bible, Genesis 22, nobody sang. There was no singing, but there was worship. There was worship. So what is worship? Worship is an heartfelt response to God. An heartfelt response to God. There's something my pastor would say, Pastor Vera Orobo. She would say that life is a gift. How you use it is your gift back to God. So I see worship as an offering. Not just, it's more than a gift, an offering back to God. An offering showing reverence, showing adoration, showing gratitude, heartfelt gratitude, not just any kind of show of gratitude or whatever it is called. It has to be heartfelt. Now, I also think that worship is a lifestyle. Worship is a lifestyle. Worship is what you do, what every believer should do every day, every single day of our lives. One day I had a ministration somewhere and, I had started my day. It was a very long day. I had started my day and I had gone out. Now I was about to step out and then I realized that I had not had some quiet time that morning. I had not had my quiet time to just stay and worship. And then I began to hear that, oh, you've not had quiet time. How would you go out there and lead the people to worship? Then listen, quiet time is very important. Very important for every worship minister, every believer, not just a worship minister. Every believer should have something called your quiet time. where it's just you and the Holy Spirit, worshiping the Lord, speaking to Him, you know, ministering unto the Lord. But that day I missed out on my quiet time. And then I heard this voice, you're going to minister, how are you going to? And it was not a voice of, okay, can you find some time to spend to just worship? Because that day I was really shook up. And then a response came from within me. And that response was, my whole life is worship. My whole life is worship. Now, worship is obedience to God. It's reverence to God. It's you aligning your life to the will of God. Worship is beyond the song. I believe that when worship ministers understand this, it will reflect in our choice of songs. So when you're told to lead worship, that's not the time to lead people into favor. It surrounds you like a shield. It's a powerful song, but is that showing reverence to God? Is that showing adoration to God? Many times, I've been tempted severally to fall into that trap, but because of this understanding, it has helped me. This understanding has helped me. So I don't go and lead with trending songs or with just any song because I like the song or because the people will like the song. As worship ministers, there's this temptation to sing a song that the people would respond to, which is good. It's one of the techniques of leading worship. The people have to know the song that you're singing. But I feel that your first audience is God. I think, I know that your first audience is God before the people. Your first audience is God before the people. So is your worship showing obedience to Him? Is your lifestyle showing worship? The way you live, the way you talk to people, the way you serve the Lord, even at your place of work, are you showing this reverence for God? Another way I'll define worship is that worship is spiritual. The Bible says in John 4, verse 23 and 24, it said, those that will worship must do so in spirit and truth. And then going back to my first point where I said that worship is reverence to God and worship is a lifestyle. Romans 12, verse 1. Listen to the NIV translation. It said, we should offer ourselves, our day-to-day living, our day-to-day activities unto the Lord as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Lord, as a worship. The Message translation said, as a worship unto the Lord, as a worship unto the Lord, as a worship unto the Lord. So you need to come to that understanding that your life, everyday life, the way you wake up, the way you leave that house, the way you relate to your spouse, it has to be unto the Lord. It has to be a reverence unto the Lord. So please take note of Romans 12 verse 1 and try to read it from the NIV or the Message translation. I also said that worship is spiritual. John 4, 23 and 24. It said, God is spirit, and those that worship must do in spirit and in truth. In spirit. So a person that can worship is a person that is spiritually minded. A person who is walking in the spirit. A person who is daily living in the spirit. Like I said, worship is beyond songs. It's not just about the song. But even as you sing as a means of worship, it has to be from the spirit, with the spirit, from within your spirit. It has to be in the spirit. You have to be doing it knowing that you are offering this worship to a spirit being. To a spirit being. God is spirit. So a carnal person or someone who does things carnally cannot please the Lord in worship. Cannot please the Lord in worship. Scripture says in Romans 8 that a carnally minded person cannot please God. He cannot please God. So you have to come to that place where you are not just thinking about yourself when you're worshiping. You're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about how the people would feel. I know there is a thin line. There's a thin line where you are leading the people to worship, and it's very important how they respond. Do they know the song? Are they responding? It's very important. However, that is not your main focus when you're leading the people to worship. You're leading them to understand that the audience is one. The audience is God. They are not your audience. The audience is God. Now, worship is also a form of honor. God said, if I be your God, here is my honor. Here is my honor. Where is my honor? We find it easy to complain. I say this all the time. A true worshiper can never be a complainer. A true worshiper can never be a complainer. If you are conversant to the story of the Israelites, how they left Israel and how they were in the wilderness, you saw that the only thing God was not happy about was their complaint. These are people that had seen God's great wonders. They had seen his marvelous works. Yet they complained when there was little issue, when there was little worry, when there was no food to eat, when there was no water to drink. Oh, they complained. Those guys really complained. Even when they had manna, they complained that they were tired of eating manna. They want to eat meat. I was reading it. I was just like, God, our God is merciful. You can't say you are a worshiper when at the slightest challenge of life, you are complaining and nagging at God. When we say worship is a lifestyle, this is what we are talking about. In spirit and in truth, regardless your reality, the truth is who God is, not what your circumstance say, not what you are facing, not what you are going through. Who God is. And if you want to be honest, with yourself, you would agree that this same God has shown you great miracles in the past. He has done great things for you in the past. But many times we are so focused on the things that he has not done, and we take our eyes from the things that he has done, and we forget to give him honor. So that moment when your life is becoming a life of complaint, that moment you are not being a worshiper. You are not being a worshiper. It's not just when you go to church and when the worship leader says, lift up your hands and worship or whatever. That's not the time. That's not the only time. You live a life of honor and reverence to God when you don't complain. When things are going wrong, you thank the Lord. I listened to a podcast of Minister Victoria Windsor, and it blessed me. She said, whether it is good or it is bad, you thank the Lord. Whether things are working, they are not working, you thank the Lord. That is worship. That is worship. Worship is the state of your heart. That you see God in everything. That you see God in every circumstances. Not asking him questions, oh God, why is this happening to me? A worshiper will see every opportunity, everything that happens around him or as an opportunity to worship the Lord. So I want to ask you, are you a worshiper? With these definitions I've given to you. And we're going to do a lot more on this talk, on this worship talk, because it's a burden in my heart. And I have seen that a lot of persons don't understand what worship is. We just want to go to church, lift up our hands when the lead singer says lift your hands, and we want to dance and just leave that place. And sometimes we don't understand the spiritual effect of what we are doing. I don't want you to take this for granted. You can go over it again. I need you to understand what it is that you are doing. I need you to know that worship is a lifestyle. I need you to know that God needs your worship. God needs your worship. God needs your worship. God needs your worship. He loves your worship. He loves it when your lifestyle is giving him honor. And when the people around you can see that, oh, this person is really a Christian. I think another name for a Christian should be a worshiper. Yeah, watch out for my next series and the next episodes on this talk. Thank you. If you have questions, comment, please drop your comments and ask your questions. Feel free and slide into my DM. I'll drop my WhatsApp contact on the comment section so you can reach out to me at any time. God bless you and have a blessed day.